What you're hearing is Hardie Fiber Cement Siding living up to its reputation as the siding that helps resist weather damage, no matter what Mother Nature throws its way. James Hardie knows how important a reputation is, especially when you're a home builder. That's why Hardie products withstand the elements better than wood-based siding, with styles to match their strength. Because when home builders work with us, we deliver our best so they can look their best. Protect your reputation with exterior products by James Hardie.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Life, Laughter, Happiness. Today I have my co-host Barbara with me. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I am. Hi, Johnny, and hello, listeners.
Hi. And I guess the thing that we're going to talk about today is something that's been on everybody's mind, is the hurricane season. Not necessarily just Hurricane Helene, but I mean, you know, it's been like Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton. It's almost nonstop. And what I understand it is that I've heard people do this when they talk about us. They'll say, we're due for a big hurricane. You know, every 30 years or so, we are due to have a really, really big hurricane in Florida. The last big one that we had was around 95 or 94.
Which one was that? That wasn't Katrina, was it? When was Katrina?
No, Katrina was in Louisiana.
But I know where. I said when. I know where.
Oh, I believe it was Opal. I think it was 94. I think it was Opal.
I know where. I'm asking what year. When?
Oh, 94. That's when we had the big one.
I have something so silly to say. A friend of mine I talked to today, and she said, guess what my parents' names are? And I said, well, I know for sure one is named Milton. Your dad's name is Milton. Is your mom's name? Yes, it is Katrina. So here she is. Her two parents are named after the biggest hurricanes ever to be reported. Well, soon to be Milton. But it was just weird. How would you like to have your parents named that, Katrina and Milton, the two biggest hurricanes ever in the world? And I just thought that was kind of weird. I found that out today. And interesting, right? It's silly. It's kind of funny.
Helene. Her mother's name is Helene.
No, I said her mom's name is Katrina, and her dad's name is Milton. I believe Milton is going to be bigger than Katrina, and Katrina was bigger than Helene. So, no, the two biggest ones will be Milton and Katrina, and those are her parents' names, which I think is so crazy. Anyway, back to the hurricane season topic.
But what I was going to tell you is that I think Hurricane Helene is bigger than Katrina.
That's what I said.
But
it's bigger. Katrina is bigger than Helene, yes. Katrina was bigger than Helene, right?
No.
Oh. Okay, well, she's got parents with the big hurricane names, that's all. Not the biggest, but pretty big.
But I'm just saying, I mean, I've seen them, and it's really, I guess the thing is that what's amazing is every time I look at a map, I think, I can't believe how lucky I've been. I mean, and I'm not trying to, invade or anything, but it's amazing, how, hurricanes, they just sort of misdestined, and I think
Destin,
it's because,
Florida.
I don't know.
Well, tell the listeners, you live in Florida, you live in Destin, Florida. I call you all the time and check on you with the hurricanes, and you're right. But it's such a different part of the state. It's a different geographical area, that's for sure. So I'm glad you're lucky, but I do have family members that are in the way of in harm's way right now. I have family members that are in harm's way, so I've been praying really hard that they're okay. And I don't know what exact city, but they are in the way of it.
Yeah, and I mean it's very scary, when you have to like the time you had to leave in the middle of the night to go stay at a hotel and
you have
what
you have
yeah, about 5 years ago we had to do that, but the thing was we were ordered to evacuate. But here's the thing: there has never, to be honest, when all is said and done, we didn't have to leave. I mean, the hurricane did not even come close to damaging us, and not even the runway. It was it could have. It's just sort of, and I mean,
isn't it better to be safe though?
Yeah,
better
it
to
is
be
better to
safe
be
than
safe.
sorry. But when you were woken up by your dad and your mom in the middle of the night, I bet that was scary to have to evacuate like that, thinking, oh my gosh, I might leave everything behind, everything you own.
Yeah, I know. But actually, it wasn't like in the middle of the night. We had to leave, I think it was around 9, or so. And we were in the car driving, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, but what if the house is gone? And when...
What did you bring with you? Let's get to it. Tell us something interesting. You were driving in the car.
Okay,
what did you bring with you?
I bought my 2 laptops and a duffel with some clothes in it.
How much time did you have to bring stuff with you?
About a few hours. It was about a few hours to get ready.
So your that's a good thing, your 2 laptops and some clothes.
Yes.
And then everything else, and your animals, your pets too, of course.
Well, we didn't have any pets back then. But
okay.
If it were to be a thing now, then we would have to take Zoe with us. And but it's just sort of like amazing, it's like because I think the thing is that I will tell you this is something that's interesting. I was talking to somebody that was living in California, and I told them, I think they told me that, well, you got all those hurricanes in Florida, and I said, yeah, but you have all those earthquakes in California. And my father said that this is something to think about because he lives in California. My father said that the earthquake is worse because the earthquake happens suddenly. Hurricanes you can plan for.
That's true.
Like, if we are going to be hit by a really, really big, hurricane, we know about it a day in advance. But if you're going to be hit by a sort of, let's just say it's a 6 or 7, earthquake, you have no way of knowing. I mean, it's going to happen right when you're in your living room, and that was my father. I think he made a good point, don't you think?
Yes. So to his point, would you then rather be living in Florida, even if it was Tampa, or right now Tampa, or would you rather be in an earthquake zone like me here in Huntington Beach, California? Yeah, that is really the test.
I don't think I can answer that because. But I will tell you that I think what it is that for the people in Tampa, I mean, there's a way to avoid getting killed by the hurricane in Tampa. You just leave,
Yeah, but you have to leave all of your belongings, everything you own, and your whole entire home.
That's true. That is true. But I mean, obviously there is no perfect situation. There's something.
Okay, I have a great idea though.
But what I'm saying, what?
Go ahead. Continue your
But
thought.
I'm just saying with you, it's like if a big earthquake hit you, you're going to be in your house, you know.
I don't know where I'm going to be.
be.
One time I was in the
Exactly.
car. I was parked in a parking lot, and I really felt it being on the buoyant wheels of the tires were bouncing, and it was flowing side to side the car. So that was a different experience. But, okay, here's my idea. If I was in the hurricane zone, what I would do is I would get a storage compartment. I would rent one as high up as I could, miles up high, higher elevation to where I knew no matter what hurricane came, it wasn't going to get my stuff. And then put most of my most valuable things in there, like your beautiful photos and all of those kinds of things, so they would never be ruined. Or do what you're doing,
Right.
is just scan everything and have it on your laptop or in the cloud. But that might be a good idea for Floridians to have a separate storage with all those items way up high somewhere. So when they do have to leave their home, they're going to lose their home and furnishings and dishes and a lot of clothes, but nothing like so sentimental. What do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, there's no perfect answer. I mean, you cannot. I mean, but I will also tell you this, that, you know, it's funny because, like, this is another thought. This goes back with the earthquakes in the hurricanes. Hurricanes have 5 levels to them. Earthquakes have 10. Right?
Are you going to be able to list those?
No. I mean, it's not a matter of listing. I mean, it's just that it's just like, for example, you know, with the hurricane, it's Hurricane 5, Hurricane 4. I mean, it's not a matter of listing. And with the earthquake, it's Richter 1, Richter 2. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not really anything that you list. It's just that the Richter scale, and then that's.
Oh,
but what's actually
that's what you mean.
Funny is, yeah. But I will tell you
hold
this.
on, before you go on, can you tell me what the highest hurricane level is? Is there one that would go above 6?
5. No, there is no
there was
Hurricane
a level 6. Oh, I thought there was.
There isn't. I mean, but I will tell you, some people are wondering if there should be, because
there might be. I hear it's going to get worse.
Yeah, because you know, it's like it's already, you can't go worse than 5. I mean, you know, but like now with earthquakes, you'll never see a 10 earthquake, because I mean, if it did, it would that's like the worst kind of earthquake. And
well, I know. I actually mentioned that to Priscilla about the earthquakes. I said, well, let's pray that we're not going to have the next thing happen to our area, which would be earthquakes. And she said, yes, she thought of that too. So we're sitting here in this fabulous weather while our fellow Americans, some of them, are almost on the verge of devastation. I want to ask you a question about that. Say you were in those people's shoes and you came back and everything was just gone. But you own that land. You own the land. So would you rebuild right there again?
My father says he would. I will tell you though that it's amazing that something can be so, you know, powerful. I mean, you know, it's like, I mean, you I mean,
blow
like,
walls
for
down.
example, what?
It can blow a home's wall down, a wall of water, I heard today.
Right.
I mean, just think about when you're playing in the waves, how strong just a little wave can take you down. If you don't dive through it the right way, it can take you down and rumble you across the
now, I will tell you,
ocean floor.
I will tell you this. This has to do with my house, okay? All right. A tropical storm is not a big deal. We have a house that can withstand a tropical storm. Even a Hurricane 1 is not a big deal. We can withstand a Hurricane 1. Nothing will happen to us. Hurricane 2, nothing would happen to us. 3, not a lot. But when you get to Hurricane 4 and 5, that's when, it's like we didn't even have damage. But the thing is that we have capacity. I think what it is that up until for the past couple of months, Mom and Dad have been redoing the house, okay? And they're doing the house for a lot of cosmetic stuff, but not all of it is cosmetic. Some of it is because we were supposed to have a bad hurricane season. So what Dad and Mom did was they put in new windows, okay? And these are windows that are designed to withstand a rougher hurricane, okay? So they put in new windows, and then they put in things like it wouldn't be a big deal if it flooded, like the floor. It wouldn't ruin the carpet, So what they've been doing is they've been sort of repairing the house in the event that something happens.
That's great.
You understand what I'm saying?
Very smart. And you live right on the beach.
Right, yeah. So it's not all cosmetic. I mean, there were cosmetic aspects of it, but a lot of it, some of it, according to them, was they were getting ready because we were supposed to have a bad hurricane season, and
which you are.
The windows are right. So, and
I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad it's not going to hit Destin. And I have another very close friend who has a home in Destin. Beautiful beach homes there. But how far up does the water come to your back door? You live right on the sandy beach. There is a boardwalk, right, where people ride bikes and walk?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it come all the way up to that level, up to the boardwalk, the water?
Oh, you mean the beach? No, there's a beach. You go out on the beach and you can walk the dog and everything.
How far does the water come up during the worst hurricane ever that you've been in that home, on the beach? How close did the water get up to your back door?
Oh, you mean when it's a hurricane? I would say pretty close.
That must have been scary.
I mean, it is, and sometimes, it can be very, very spooky because you're right there on the water. And,
oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I can imagine, but thank goodness you have a smart thinking mom and dad that are preparing. So you don't want a slodgy downstairs with wet carpet that's going to mold. So good.
Right.
I'm glad to know that you are. Now all I have to do is worry about my stepbrother and his 4 little kids and his wife. They're not leaving. I wish I would have asked my stepdad exactly what city they lived in town, but they're not evacuating. They're hunkering down. So I'm praying. I've said a lot of prayers, and it meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
Somebody sent them my message. I haven't even seen them for years, but I think about them. So everybody say a prayer when we get done with the show for all of the hurricane people out there, victims that are going to be going through a lot, and the ones that already have gone through a lot. But it sure leaves really bad aftermath, doesn't it? Just not just destruction, but wet, gross sludge.
The thing about Hurricane Katrina, that was such a big deal, as far as I understand it, wasn't the size of the hurricane. It was that they were very unprepared for it.
Oh, but you say that they gave a lot of preparation time for people. Why were they not?
No. Usually when there's a hurricane, people are prepared. But it seems like Katrina was not one that they were very well prepared for. But they are well prepared. You understand what I'm saying?
Maybe they weren't
part,
believing. Maybe they just didn't believe that it was really going to wipe them out. Maybe they just didn't heed the warning and just thought, we can handle it. And then they were very surprised. But, I want to ask you, how do you feel about how the government is responding to the victims of the last Helene hurricane?
I would have to say that that's a question that would be best asked to the people that are really going to get hit by it, because right now, there's no reason for me to get. I know that this is what we're talking about right now. I'm just saying that I think that you can only really understand it when it's you. I worry about it happening to me, so that part I can say. But as far as like knowing for certain that people in Tampa are going to probably have damage, I can tell you this much. This isn't so much how the government is, but when it was very hard, when the Opal hit us. We lost our front, and it's like all of a sudden you have this house that you need to fix, and it's very, I would think, psychologically very draining.
Do you guys stock up on water and food as well?
Yeah, what Mom does is she always makes sure that she's ready to leave when the time is right,
Would you leave 2 cars with 2 cars? Do you have 2 cars?
We only have 1 car.
Okay.
We only have 1 car. But what I'm
about
saying
your family? Don't they live in Florida as well? Like your adult sisters?
No, not everybody does. Now, I will tell you this, that when Helene hit, because we also have a house in Georgia, there was some concerns about will it hurt our place in Georgia, and like Opal, when Opal hit, it hurt the house in Florida, and then what happened was it caused us to lose power in Georgia. It was that intense. So, but fortunately, Helene didn't do anything to either house.
How long does it take to drive there to your other home in Georgia from where you are in Destin?
About 6 hours. It would take 6 hours.
So how do you know? Do you have somebody checking on that home in Georgia for you?
We do.
Yes,
that's what we do.
You need the power. You need the power to always be on for the refrigerator.
We also have a, this is also one thing that we have, is, we have a burglar alarm. And so what happens is like, this is how we knew that there was no damage. When we had to evacuate in 2018, Dad knew that as soon as the door is open, the burglar alarm would go off. So if our house, if the door had been busted open on our house, the burglar alarm would have gone out. Well, Dad knows, he tracked all that, see what I'm saying, remotely.
Yes.
So that never happened. So that's how he was able to know that nothing had happened. You understand?
That's smart. Yes, of course. Yes, but if the door blew open because of the wind, he wouldn't know, was it the wind or is it a burglar?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys are handling it, and I have, I know that your dad is on top of everything, your mom. I'm glad, and I'm glad you're in Destin. But when is it supposed to really hit? What time? And what time is it there right now? 7:24?
I think it's supposed to hit. I think it's supposed to hit like this evening sometime is when it's supposed to hit. You know.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're okay.
We are okay.
That's good. Well, everybody else over there, brace, and hopefully you've evacuated. And we are praying for you at Life After Happiness. We're praying for you and the Helene victims. We're praying for the people that are already going through such hell. And hopefully it will lose some power as it comes. Hopefully. And it will go down from a 5 to a 4 to a 3.
It's supposed to. It's supposed to, but. Yeah.
Well, I'm watching the news right now, and it says Hurricane Milton rapidly approaching landfall, so it hasn't slowed down yet.
Well, what level is it up to?
I don't know right now. I do not know. I remember when my friend Brenda's mom used to live in Mississippi, the Katrina really wiped her out, and she lost a lot of great art. And I remember always having to pray for Brenda's mom, who was elderly, in that home. And then she went after Katrina. Everything was just ruined, and her 12-carat diamond ring was lost. Brenda had kept it there. No, never found it. 12 carats. Big honking diamond rock. Probably like $1 million. I mean, Brenda, she was a star. She was an actress, star, best-selling author. She had men proposing all the time. She had this huge rock from somebody.
Brenda, is this the Brenda I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
She lost the 12-carat diamond ring. Yes. And she thought it would be safe with her mom. Should have put it in a safety deposit box somewhere.
The one that dated Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
She did date him. She wrote a book recently about him.
Yeah, okay. I know who that is.
We've got to have her on. She wants to come on the show. So. Sure, Brenda Venus.
Is it okay if I say her last name? Or?
Yes. Brenda Venus. Brenda Venus, and we're going to have her on because she actually wants to come on the show to promote her book. And she wrote a book about her love with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And it was a great love, and they're still very, very close. And I think it's going to be really interesting to read. So let's read it, and then let's have her on.
Okay.
And that's about it, okay? One last thing about the hurricane, though, which I was so worried about this, the animals in the zoos. Well, there was a whole statement about it. They're taking care of them all, and they've been doing it for a few weeks, preparing, getting all the animals so that no matter what, they'll be fine and they'll be safe. And there was one enclosure for the lions that the water would get so high up that it would actually reach up the moat to where the water level was up there, so they could just get up on that and actually get free from their cage. So they had to raise the moats up. I mean, can you imagine you're fighting the hurricane, you're a victim of it, and then all of a sudden you see a lion there in front of you too?
Yeah.
I don't think it could probably get any worse than that. So luckily they're taking care of it. Well, okay. Thank you, Johnny, and thank you, listeners, for listening and following Life, Laughter, Happiness here on Blog Talk Radio. If you would like to connect even more, please visit our Facebook page, Life, Laughter, Happiness Radio Show, and our X and Instagram as well. We would love to hear from you there, too, where I post a lot of fun stuff. Anything else, Johnny?
I can't think of anything. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone, and we will see you Friday with Psychic Dale Shear for Psychic Night. So get your questions ready. Good night, everybody.